This is your Wall Street wake-up call. The markets await the Federal Reserve's June policy statement released later today. For more on what to expect, I'm joined now by David Nelson, the chief strategist at Bell Point Asset Management. So David, we're not expecting a rate hike. We know that,
Sure.
but this is still an important meeting. During her speech in early June, Janet Yellen actually commented on that weak May jobs report, saying it was concerning. What do you think Yellen and the Fed will say about the labor market in its statement today?
Well, look, clearly you're right, Scott, because it is going to be the focus on the commentary. I'm going to take the other side of the coin on this, because I know a lot of Wall Street thinks she's going to be very dovish today. I think she's going to be more hawkish than people expect. I don't think she wants to take July off the table. We know June isn't going to happen, but I think she wants to keep July alive, and she wants to keep the market a little bit off balance, because it would kind of indicate that things are really falling apart if she starts with this very dovish commentary.
All right, so what does that mean for the Fed's dot plot, which will also be released today?
Yeah.
Of course, back in March, they trimmed it to 2 rate hikes in 2016. Do you think we'll see that same level, or will they trim it again?
They may trim it again. I think the term normalization is taking on a whole new context, and it's obviously going to mean, a lower dynamic for a lot longer than many of us had expected in here. I think the Fed has been complicit here. There are unintended consequences with keeping rates low this long.
Yeah.
It certainly changed corporate behavior, and we've talked about buybacks and the issuing of cheap debt. I think she's aware of that, and I think they understand they have to move forward. But it's become a situation where the Fed is following the markets rather than the other way around.
And what about the projections for 2017 and 2018? Do you think those will be downgraded too? Because, I mean, when you're going that far out, I mean, it's playing with fire, right? I mean,
does it really make a difference? That's my question, because, yeah, we could keep the dots the same, we could move them forward, but they could change by the end of the year. It's very likely that the whole projection could move in a little bit.
Okay, and for the markets, though, I mean, how do you play this? How are you watching this as an asset manager?
Well, if she is a little hawkish today, that'd probably be good news for the banks. They might rally off that. They've been hit pretty hard, really, since the May jobs report. Investors have been caught off sides. There have been two issues they've had to deal with. First is the May jobs report, the Fed getting more dovish, and also Brexit. Those two things together have really put investors off guard.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if this is going to be sort of a snooze Fed statement, I mean, it's important, but maybe we're not expecting anything major out of it.
No.
Do the markets immediately shift to Brexit next week?
Yeah. And I don't think June was really ever on the table, because the Fed was aware of the Brexit. And now it's getting really too close to call. And one of our international managers was just there. And it's really a split, because it's a very populist movement, very much like here in the United States. Everybody's against Washington. For a lot of people living in Britain, they want to cut the ties to Brussels.
Oh, interesting. All right, David Nelson from Bell Point Asset Management, thank you for coming by.
Thanks for having me on.
I'm Scott Gamm, and you're watching The Street.